This episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to support the Boss Rush Network and our family of podcasts, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. Thanks for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrick, and alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Yay! What's poppin'?
Hey, LeRon, how's your emulation station going?
It's going all right. I mean, certain corporations that like the plumber is their mascot. Are getting on my last goddamn nerve right now.
Yes, Roto-Rooters is getting all the emulation broken.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh man, I don't know why that was the first thing after Nintendo that came to my brain. It wasn't. That's where we're leaving it. Also,
the emulation station is still non-consensually penetrated.
It's
no,
okay
you said penetrated. I don't like it.
It's all right though. To quote Mrs. Jay-Z, not gonna break my soul.
Mrs. Jay-Z. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Also here, who's going to save us from whatever the shit show is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
What are you talking about? I'm here penetrating your eardrums, baby.
Oh,
no one's going to save us. No one's going to save us.
But I'm happy to be back. I feel like I haven't been on forever, even though I only missed last week. I don't know. Time doesn't matter to me anymore.
You're the one that thought you were too good for everybody else. You decided to leave.
Whoa. Hey
Whoa,
now.
Whoa.
Hey now.
I was taking my son on a trip. I was trying to be good mom here.
Sir.
Yes. Excuse you.
Oh, man. PK Power's not here, but you know who's got the power? The man
to penetrate.
I've spent a week ingesting video game nonsense, and I'm here to drop a fresh dollop between your eardrums.
I was going to say you've double penetrated.
Drop deuces in your brains, and they won't leave.
Matthew Kiel is here.
Hi,
Matt.
Matt rhymes with Pat.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not near as cool as he is.
Oh, it depends on who you ask.
And those people are wrong.
If
they think I'm cooler, they're wrong.
Who's to say?
Yeah, exactly.
It's who's to say, right? I mean, I think you're cooler than everybody, Matt. So,
aw, thanks, Corey.
You're welcome. My opinion doesn't count, though. It
does to me. That helps. That's supportive. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but if I upset you, you can just hit end call and you can just leave.
No, my mental health wouldn't allow me to do that.
What is mental health? Does it exist?
Hell if I know. That's why I'm in therapy.
Taking health of your mental. Taking care of health of your mental health.
Can I just say one thing, guys?
I'm broken.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Wednesday night is my favorite night of the week. It's the night I look forward to the most.
It's a good night.
It is. Anyways, everybody having a good week? Good week? One of them weeks that are good? Or
I had a good week last week.
Well, yeah, you were away in a warm climate, being away from
scaring the shit out of my son by taking him on a jet ski ride and going 40 miles an hour. The kid was crying. He was screaming and crying, and I just pretended I didn't hear him.
You should have put one of them. You should have put one of them
you don't
parachutes
that out
on.
Loud. That can be admissible in court.
Just kidding. I slowed down.
You should have put
allegedly.
You should have put one of those parachutes on him and just let him fly off the back and see what happened.
Oh my gosh, he would never forgive me. I'm pretty sure he traumatized him. I'm like, come on, be fun. No, I didn't really say that because doesn't make sense. Anyway, last week was good. It was the second annual mother-son vacation. We had a good time at Margaritaville, and I took him on snorkeling, and we fed piggies by the beachside. And he was terrified of the piggies, but I got to hold a baby piggy.
So
And
much.
then, yeah, all the good stuff came to an end because as soon as I came home, people suck, work suck, and I had to put one of my cats down, so everything
Oh,
sucks.
I'm sorry. That's sad. I feel bad.
Why do we love only to have the love ripped away from us?
That's why I don't have an animal, because they have expiration dates and I don't want to deal with it.
I mean, you have an
Axel.
expiration date, but we just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, but I don't have to deal with my death. I'll be dead.
Fair.
It'll
Okay.
When
be
I
you
die, I'm
guys.
everybody else's problem.
Yeah.
And they're gonna pay. No.
Mhm. Yep. Pretty much.
Did you have a good week? Is anyone else having a better week than me? Please, I hope someone's having a good week.
I have no comment on this week, so
Mm.
I'll just leave it there.
I'll be honest. I don't remember Monday and Tuesday.
Could be good or bad,
Like
however you want to take it.
I went to work. I did work. No one really complained about it. I was on call Tuesday night and I did not get called back in, so that's a plus. I was off today, and I mean, I did play with my son. That was a lot of fun. But yesterday and the day before, no clue. The weekend though was rough. My wife and I are two. I think. Well, she's super intelligent. She's very smart, very strong. I
Not
try
smart
to.
enough, she married you.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's true. That's true.
1 point
I
deducted.
mean, or maybe I just punched so far above my weight, so I should be getting points. I don't know. Our son absolutely defeated us this weekend in
Cool.
every way possible. We just never recovered from, I think it was Friday night. He was just up all night, and it was just the snowball rolls downhill and it gets bigger. So
Mhm.
Yeah. Kids are fun, aren't they?
all that said, I was telling Stephanie, I'm like, it's really cool to watch them grow up. It's like, it's funny to watch him try and put things together just in the world without being prompted.
Yeah. Well, my son has been waking me up in the morning, and this morning he walked up to me and said, "Hi, Dad." And I said, "Hi, buddy." And he punched me in the eye and then ran away and started laughing. He ran upstairs. So that was fun.
I'm excited to get there.
Now, are you?
Yes, I am, because here's the thing. I know that when my son's he's essentially a toddler right now, but you look at him and you see like he's just an absolute little boy, but he can't communicate with us yet, at least not verbally. But I know when he gets to that like guess what phase, like my wife is going to want to murder both of us, because he's gonna do that, and I'm going to enable the hell out of it. And I'm going to have an absolute ball while it's going on, and she's gonna be like, "You need to stop this, or both of you are going to die." Reba's gonna be so outnumbered, and both of us are probably gonna be way more tired than we need to be. But I do like being a parent.
I mean, I thought I was outnumbered when it was just my daughter, and then we had a son, and now everybody's outnumbered. So,
Yeah.
yep.
I know once we get a dog, at least I'll be the embodiment of the Dave Chappelle quote, "Always have a dog, because then you know that as the father, someone will always be happy to see you."
I was gonna say, get a pet to equal out the odds for you, Corey.
Yeah, I wish, but not anytime soon. So
Yeah.
it's fine though. It's
That's why I have Paxil. I'm like, Paxil, love me.
Paxil loves me.
As I grabbed her face and forced it into the camera.
That's all right. She basically had her butt on your face at the beginning of the show, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh man. All right, let's get into the show because we should probably do that now instead of being super depressing. Hello, if this is your first show, welcome to the podcast. Oh man.
We've
If
all
you
taken our downers, and we're gonna bring you with us.
Oh man,
Mhm.
I took 2 blueies. It's good. If you want to support the Boss Rush podcast and the Boss Rush Network, you can head over to Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, where you can get this show 1 week early and ad-free, and other perks like early access to other podcasts, voting rights, and more at the tier that's right for you. Again, that's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. If you can't contribute financially, no big deal. Your viewership and listenership is enough for us. You can watch the video over on YouTube, subscribe, share, rate, review on podcast services. You can catch all of our content on bossrush.net. You can grab some merch at our merch store. Just click the store icon on the website. It'll take you right there. 40 plus designs.
And TeePublic's having a sale, although
They
by the
are.
time you hear it, it probably won't be on sale anymore.
That's right. There'll be another sale next week. It'll be fine. Every Thursday, I get a text message from them saying there's a sale, and then
Yeah, it's always like the same too.
yeah,
Same exact discount. $16 tees.
it's $16 tees, or it's 30% off of hoodies, or it's like buy two get one on stickers, or like the 3 that I always get. So, but yeah, it's good. It's time for some new designs. It's time for some new designs. By the way, speaking of designs, I have been playing with a lot of artificial intelligence, and I I have to talk about this because it was so awfully
What kind of
accurate.
monster did you create, and how many dicks does it have?
I've seen it. Do you really want the answer?
Yes, I asked the question.
It's
I ain't
so
afraid of no answers, LeBron.
so I made LeRon, Pat, Stephanie, and Ed with short descriptions, and they were pretty accurate. I would say Stephanie was probably the least accurate, but still pretty accurate.
Oh, I liked my AI representation. I'm
Hey,
I'm
yours was
almost tempted.
cool.
Yeah, he
I'm
looks way
almost
better than
tempted to
you.
use it on my social media.
Your alt account.
Was that?
Your alt account. Your alt account.
No, all of it. All of it. Alt, main, side, switch.
Man, but it was
Bottom.
oh, no.
Yep.
But it was
Verse.
Yeah.
Wrong show.
Is it though? I feel like
Feels right. I don't know what the problem is.
I feel like at some point we're just gonna merge the 2 shows into one show, and they will
We
just
can't.
be
No, we
they will
can't.
just be
because
one show.
You can't,
And
'cause,
somehow there will be a bunch of penises. Who knows?
Yeah, and we're only gonna be able to stream to OnlyFans and Pornhub.
Best
what was
comment
where was
section
I
is on Pornhub. Everybody knows that.
where was I going with this?
And I played with AI
Oh, right,
and
yeah, and LeRon's like some of the art I made LeRon turned out the coolest. It was the coolest. That technology is super cool, and it was really cool to like make this stuff. And like LeRon was requesting things, and I just kept sending him stuff randomly because I felt like it. But also, we are all fucked. We better all learn how to fix robots in the future because we're all fucked.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk about that for a minute because
I'm gonna fly myself out to frickin' North Dakota into the most remote patch of land and just live isolated. That's my escape plan.
that's fair. That's fun. Montana, you're gonna have some cows out there, and
This is why I am always nice to my Google Nest. I always say please and thank you.
I don't talk to I neglect Siri. She probably hates me. It's fine. It wouldn't be the first woman that did.
Aw.
Oh, at least she doesn't call me names.
Well, she could if you wanted her to.
Yeah, I was gonna say tomorrow she's gonna go, wake up, daddy, and you're gonna be like, what the hell?
No. Anyways, let's talk about what we've been playing. Matt, you're our esteemed guest. I'm going your way first.
Okay.
Helldivers 2.
Yes, Helldivers 2.
Blowing shit up.
Helldivers 2 continues to be the gift that keeps on giving for me, and I don't know why I have my hands like this. Apparently I'm praying, who knows. Yeah, I love this game a lot.
Somebody needs to. What?
Let's explore that, Corey. No, Helldivers 2 rules. I love that just about every time I join in with randoms, I usually come away having a good experience with at least one of them. And granted, a lot of that doesn't happen again because my schedule is weird and everybody plays games at normal times and I really don't anymore. But this game is something special. And I think if you like multiplayer PvE shooters where it is 100% about co-oping and team play rather than kill death ratio or King of the Hill type deathmatch situations, it's one of those things that should be in the conversation with like Rocket League and Fortnite.
Nice.
This iteration of it, because where those are about competing against others, this is 100% about 4 people dropping into a mission and seeing how they do. It's beautifully designed in a way where I will say 90% of the weapons in it that come out of the box are perfectly viable. That said, as you gain access to more, you realize how situational they can be, and you realize how some have more varied utility, whereas some are only really good on certain missions. But like I have my loadout that if I'm jumping in on the highest difficulty with 4 people or with 3 other people that I've never talked to, I have my things that I will run. But I ultimately know that those are the things that I run, and they might not do the job on a hell dive because you kind of have, if you're not communicating, it becomes a really bad time really fast. However, my sweet spot is like level 7, and generally I can solo that with the things that I like. It doesn't stop me from trying other things or trying new ways to play because this game allows that so well. This game is cool. It's $40, and there are now 3 war bonds that you don't actually have to pay for if you don't want to. You just have to play the game, and you can earn the credits to play them.
Didn't they have, or will they have this update with different kinds of weapons? Or does this one
So
that regularly happen?
it depends on what you mean by that. Like there are stratagems that have been added to, like all of those came outside of the box. I don't remember how many there were, but 4 I believe have been added since.
Yeah, I think I'd do like more laser-like weapons. I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
there was a war bond that was predominantly laser. The war bond that's out now is explosions. The first one was just it was just like a premium tier thing. If you wanted to get the collector's edition or whatever, it basically gave you the first premium war bond. Um, the theme there it didn't really have any specific like narrow theme like the lasers one or the demolition one has, but one thing that a lot of YouTubers that I happen to follow, a lot of their big complaints about the game initially was that premium war bond has weapons that you can't get in the game, but they're making that value judgment too quickly, because you get buy the war bond, unlock all those weapons, you're still finding yourself using the stuff that came, like I'm still using stuff that just comes with the game rather than that. The only thing that's really changed for me is I will use a weapon called the Eruptor, which is in the newest War Bond, and it is basically a sniper grenade launcher, and it's fun. This game it's super cool. It's super chaotic. It's actually relatively intuitive in terms of like a moment to moment gameplay. Like there are other things you can think about, like the overarching narrative of the community against Arrowhead's like single game master that they have, who's named Joel. The community engagement around this game, the fan art is wild, the memes are wild. It's really fun. I really like it. The other thing I've been playing is I don't know how to say it, if it's Balatro or Balatro, which is a card-based roguelike that is centered around poker hands. Not playing poker, but just knowing like what the hands are. And yeah, that game, that I hate to say it this way, but that game fucks. It's real good. It shouldn't be as good as it is. I should actually start that up and not like it. But oh man, I am so into how this game works in terms of like building a multiplier, trying to cause as many interactions on the table as possible, and watching numbers just increase. It fires off so much dopamine. I love it.
I was
I
going to
love
say,
it.
I've heard a lot of good things about it, even from people that generally aren't into
What is this
card-based
on?
roguelikes. It's Balatro or something.
It's
No, what is it
Balatro
on?
or Balatro or Balatro or
What's it on?
It's on everything.
Switch.
It's
It's
on
on
Switch
everything.
and
Yeah.
Steam.
Oh, it's on everything? Okay.
Yeah, it's like
I
a
play it on my Steam
card-based
Deck, so
card game, poker, something sort of.
it looks like a poker
Poker
game, but it's actually
elements,
it's
but
just
not.
you use the hands in poker to score. So like if you get a royal flush, you're scoring a lot of points. If you get four of a kind, you're scoring a lot of points. But a lot of times you're just getting like pairs or full houses or the three of a kind. But what it uses is different kinds of jokers that you can carry up to 5, and they're really your weapons in this. Like your loadout there is going to be what propels you over the finish line most of the time. There's a cool consumable element in terms of like their types of cards you get. I'm not sure of all of them, but I know that there are tarot cards, and I think they're just called planet cards. Like, but the planets tend to level up different hands. So like if you get Pluto, basically it'll increase your multiplier when you get one pair. It'll add that to your deck permanently for the run. And then the tarot cards can add to each individual card. And I'm still trying to get to the bottom of a lot of it. I haven't finished a run yet. Got real close. I got so close the other day. So close that I was mad. I almost broke my Steam Deck. I was so mad. I literally want to just break it over my knee, but I composed myself and didn't. And I'm like, I'll be back, Balatro. Don't you worry. Game's really good. You should play it.
I was going to say, those are two really solid games that you just mentioned. So
Yeah.
awesome.
If you like third-person shooters, you should play Helldivers, like hands down.
It's on my list at some point, just like every other game that ever comes out ever.
Oh, and Helldivers is crossplay between PC and PS5, and it's crossplay super seamlessly.
Are you playing on Steam Deck at all?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was one of those games that were like, oh, it's a multiplayer online game, so it doesn't work. Because like Destiny is blocked on Steam Deck.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you have to be always online?
I guess, but I would assume you have to be that way with Helldivers.
You do. Like I can't play it just anytime I want. Like one of my jobs, it actually has Wi-Fi that I can use it on, and I play it there. It's fine.
At a boy,
I'm not gonna
use
say
and
it,
work.
I'm not going to say it too loudly because I don't want them to get wise. Then again,
I'm gonna.
IT can see everything that I do.
I'm actually just gonna turn your audio up in that clip and send it to your place of business.
Okay, cool, perfect. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
What are friends for? But yeah, you do need to be online to even boot up Helldivers 2.
Yeah,
which kind of sucks. But because the first game had an offline element that you could play. But
yeah.
I see why they did it. I don't think that'll change this time out, but I'm happy to sacrifice that for people who don't necessarily want to pick up a PS5 to play it, but have a PC. Although if you do pick it up on Steam Deck, it will say that it instead of having the green check, it has a yellow exclamation point saying some of the elements might not work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what elements it specifically means, but I will say if you do buy it on Steam Deck, look up settings to change so it prevents like heat and crashing.
You can go to our friend Kyle's website, Steam Deck HQ, and he has a whole thing about Helldivers.
My goodness, I wasn't sure if it
what was
me.
that?
Oh yeah, I noticed. I blipped out. I was just gonna keep talking, pretend like it didn't happen, but you guys noticed. So
sorry.
no,
Yeah.
Steam Deck HQ has a whole section of the website dedicated to Helldivers 2 on Steam Deck. So, yeah.
The more you know. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You're welcome. SteamDeckHQ.com. Support
Yes.
Kyle and his
Shout
team.
out.
Great.
Yeah, he's awesome. So, anyways, I thought I would just plug. Thought it would be nice. Speaking of nice, I'm gonna let LeRon go next. Hi, LeRon. What are you playing?
There's only one thing I've been playing. Yep, Tekken 8.
Fighting people online.
Just let him live.
I'm fighting randos online because I'm not right now. I'm not in the ranked battle. I'm just doing player matches and stuff like that because now I've got to get to a point where I've got to refine like the things that actually like put you into the high level gameplay. So I got to retool my movement. I got to retool like evasion. I got to retool like everything I do as far as punishment and all that stuff. And I've started labbing a second character now. So
what's your second character?
Jin Kazama. Like I'm gonna actually use the hero of the game.
Who's your main?
Right now my main is Victor. Like I've been playing Victor since the game came out. But even though my regular main is actually Asuka Kazama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because I called back way back to Tekken 2. Like Tekken 2 is the first Tekken game I played in the series. So I use Jun Kazama because she's literally like the default character when you press start. So I was using her, and then Tekken 3 comes out. Jun's gone, and Jin Kazama's there, and he's basically at that point he was basically a mix of Jun Kazama and Kazuya. And since I knew how to use both of them, I was using him for a while for Tekken 3 and Tekken Tag Tournament, the first one. And then when Tekken 4 came out, they changed Jin's moveset, and I was like, oh my god, like he doesn't play anything like what I'm used to in the past two games. So then I started messing around with other characters until Tekken 5 came out and Asuka showed up, and she had basically Jun's classic moveset. So she was my main for practically like from Tekken 5 to Tekken 6 to Tekken Tag Tournament 2 to Tekken 7, and then Tekken 8 came out, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick a brand new character, not just a brand new character. I'm gonna pick a new to the series character, and that's how I got into Victor. And Victor is so nice. I like him, but I feel like I'm starting to hit it. I feel like I'm starting to hit that wall with him, and it's a wall of non-progression. So I'm like, this is the point where, like most people that play fighting games, like usually you switch to a new character, and it kind of like refreshes you, and you wind up coming back to your main and playing them stronger than ever. So that's where I'm at right now.
Nice.
it's fighting game mentality. It's almost like it's almost the same thing as Monster Hunter 2. Like Monster Hunter, like you get kind of stale using your main weapon, so you switch to another one, and then when you come back to your main weapon, like oh my god, like I was doing so much wild shit with the gun lance after I played with the switch axe. I mean not the switch axe, the charge blade and the insect blade for a hot minute.
Oh yeah.
And, like
I quit the glaive for the bow and came back to the glaive, then quit both of them for the lance.
The bow is so broken.
Yeah,
oh my
it's the best.
god!
It's the best.
What did they?
It's the best.
I swear, what did they do to the bow? And what did they do to the bow and the longsword in Rise? It's almost criminal.
I mean, longsword's always been broken.
Longsword was longsword
and those
always broken.
And those longsword a-holes keep getting in my goddamn way.
I know. Everybody's got to wear flinch free because of those assholes.
Yeah, and they just swing.
It's like they don't fucking care.
Yeah, I mean, everyone talks about.
That's literally when I get.
Everyone wants to make fun of the hammers for their unga bungas, but at least they're like, you know what? I'm going to go to the face and I'm going to stay there, and that monster is going to stay on the ground.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
They're running at people's ankles, going.
You can always tell when a hammer uses the gigaton blow because everybody's on the monster, all of a sudden everybody flies, like someone did a force push or something.
Yeah. I mean, and every hammerman's like, I told you to back up, but no. And the longsword's like, but how come you keep knocking me over? And meanwhile,
the way I fix longsword mains when they're getting too frisky and stuff like that is I'll switch to a light or a heavy bowgun and I'll just start cluster bombing shit.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it.
Then they learn.
Yeah.
Friendly fire.
There are lanes you need to stay in them. Anyway.
Yeah. So right now it's just tech and progression and yeah, like if I seem a little distracted right now in the stream, it's because like I'm trying to fix a situation with my with my emulation station on my ROG Ally.
Your non-consensually penetrated emulation station?
Yeah. Yeah, no.
That was a lot of syllables at once. I'm surprised I pulled that off.
I just learned that that the ROG Asus is extending their warranty. To anyone that wants to get their SD card issue fixed, you can still do it. Whether you bought it day one or whether you just bought it last week, like you can still RMA it and stuff like that. I'm thinking if I want to RMA mine, the only because mine has not worked. But if I RMA mine, like even though like I had two friends that they've said they sent theirs in and it came to them exactly in the condition they sent it in, meaning like because they installed like new SSDs and stuff like that, and like it came right back to them as if they sent it to them, except that the SD card was fixed, the SD card slot was fixed, and they're actually reimbursing people for SD cards that may have gotten fried in it. So there's that. So yeah. And also like the new update, the new firmware update just dropped for the ROG Ally. So all you people who's looking for fluid motion frames and FSR and true FSR3, it's there now. PC Master Race Unite. Our gaming is getting better on portable side.
The other night I was during the like 3 hours at a time that I sleep, I had a dream where I got rid of all my consoles and just bought a Steam Deck. And I had a Steam Deck and a Switch, and that's all I had. I was like,
you know what though?
That's not a bad idea.
You don't even need a Switch if you have a Steam Deck. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I do, LeRon.
Like I said, probably somewhere around a year ago on this show, all games end up on PC, illegally or legally.
Yep. Oh, I cannot wait for Ghost of Tsushima to hit the PC. Oh my god, you guys do not understand. I am ready for it. Like I got Horizon Forbidden West, even though I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn. Well, beaten Horizon Zero Dawn. I can't say I haven't played it because I have played it. I just have not beaten it. As a matter of fact, basically every PlayStation game that's been ported to the PC, I've got it. I've got them. So God of War, Horizon, both Horizons, I should say, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, Ratchet and Clank does not play on my. It does not play properly on the ROG Ally. It's too intense. So is Returnal. Returnal. I have to. I hate to say it, I have to cap it at 30 frames for it to work for it to play right. Stuff like that. God of War plays nice though on it. God of War plays nice on it. What else? Oh, I'm missing something. Horizon. The first Horizon plays well on it. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is that all the PlayStation games out right now? I think that's every.
Spider-Man?
Oh, both. I don't know why I'm forgetting both the Spider-Mans. Yeah, I've got both the Spider-Mans. They play well. They play very well.
Is Miles Morales on PC as well, or
It
is it
is.
just
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah. All the Spider-Mans. Like I'm just waiting. Oh, I said both the Spider-Mans. I meant Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 has not hit yet.
Oh, okay. It didn't hit.
Yeah. Yeah, so every PlayStation game on PC is I can play right now. Uncharted also. I knew I was forgetting something. Uncharted.
I'm wondering if they're gonna do like a 10-year Bloodborne anniversary.
I bet
The
they do.
rumor
It's what,
is
2 years? It's 2 years. It's next year, right?
Yeah, next
Yeah.
year's 10
Next
years.
March.
there's the rumor happening about that.
And then that's when they'll bring it to PC. And everyone's gonna lose their mind.
Maybe Bluepoint. Maybe that's Bluepoint's next remake.
I feel like they said it wasn't.
Yeah, but they also said they weren't remaking Demon Souls, and guess what we got?
Oh, they did say that? I don't
Yeah.
remember. Okay.
So
I mean, nobody's doing anything till they're doing something. And then you realize that, oh, they've been doing it the whole time. So
that's fair. Stephanie, what are you playing?
I got to play a few games while I was away. Gave me time to play stuff. One I can't talk about right now. The other two, I had one. No, wait, no, I can't talk about that. Dang it.
Pokemon Go.
The Kindeman Remedy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's called the Kindeman Remedy. It is a type of a sim management game, which I haven't really been into in many, many moons. It's a medical torture simulator, and that's the only reason why it
Oh
caught my
my
eye.
god.
You play as a doctor with a
Go on.
questionable past. You're very brilliant, but you have questionable methods to obtain science
I
by
mean, that's just
experimenting on
history at
people.
this point.
Well, yeah, it is. So you work at a prison and you kind of help provide medication for the inmates and also assist with the executions. But on the side, you make this medication that keeps people alive post execution. So when they dump the body, you take them into your chambers and you torture them, and you get information and medical data from torture to find this Kinderman remedy. I don't
No,
know why out
You
of all
know,
management sims,
no,
I was drawn to this one.
no. This young lady works in the medical field, and look what
dude,
she picks.
I'm
Demented
telling you
doctors.
right now, this is the first one of these in a while that I'm like, man, I want to play this.
Yeah, at first I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I can handle it. It's gonna be so gruesome." It's, the way many management sim games are structured, gameplay and visual wise, it's not as immersive as I fantasized it to be. But it's still interesting. The game does teach you and how do I say this? Pace things well. They start off with the most basic function first, and then the next day they'll add one more thing, and the next day they'll add one more thing. So it eventually became reasonably challenging. The only thing I did not like, and it was my own fault, was I played it on the Switch. Games like this are better on a PC where you have a mouse where you can point and click at things. Because there's many times where I lost time because you're on like a day-night cycle because I kept moving the cursor and like missing
Oh
the
yeah.
bin I need to click on. I wasted so much time that way. But and then they start throwing things in there, like you're trying to bribe one of the prison guards, and he says, "All right, well, when you execute this guy and spare him, you need to release this guy, or this guy just torture the fuck out of him, and you need to make sure you do the right thing to earn reputation points, so you can upgrade your lab." So I'm not done with it yet. I am actually curious to kind of see how it plays out, which is not typical of sim games. Like it's nothing too crazy special, like, oh, it's going to be in the bossies or anything, but it's definitely interesting. And I will pop in, play a day or two once in a while.
Nice.
Are you sure it's not going to make it to the bossies?
I guess I can't make any promises right now.
Sure, you
So,
can.
so yeah, I will be writing a review for it on Boss Rush, but I try to hold true to, if not completing a game, being so close to completing a game before writing a review. I'm past the embargo date. I feel bad that I didn't get a review like on the day of, because I try to. I try to like release the review on the day that it comes out, but I'm like, I would do the review a disservice if I didn't put more time into a management game. Because there's the way you go about with torture is like you pick a body part, you pick the weapon, and an action or something like hammer, smash, groin.
Oh my god!
I just like how I can just see it now. Stephanie's review. The thing about torture is,
And of course, I did everything to the groin first because I'm a child. I'm like, okay, let's saw off the groin first.
I mean,
Smash it.
that's where I'm
You
going.
sadist.
Fillet it in fast food and let's see what happens.
So yeah, 'cause, hey, you know what? With so many Sims out there, this was unique. I don't know if we've
Yeah.
had many medical torture Sims. So
Yeah. Well, I
uh,
mean, depending, you could really make as someone who spends a lot of time in an OR, you could probably make the statement that surgery is kind of torture.
Actually, I've seen like like the ones I've seen like the ones where like they're the educational like purposes and stuff like that. And man, I swear, it looks like some of those surgeons are fucking rough as fuck.
Oh yeah, they are.
Like inside their bodies, and I understand it's also because like our bodies aren't as malleable as we think they
yeah.
are and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they
So I
100% are.
understand that, but at the same time, it's like Jesus Christ, dude, like you're tearing them up.
Oh yeah, they're just matter of fact about it, which I guess you have to be. But I was in a rotation just super quick in pharmacy school, and I got to sit in on an OR like in the room, and they had to use a laser to cut open part of the flesh, because you had to. The smell of burning flesh is the worst smell in my life, and will be the worst smell of my life.
You will never
It's just
forget it.
nope. It's
I
terrible.
I was only in a couple where they had lasers and X-ray school, and it's been 10 years. And then the only thing that comes close to matching it is like uh necrotic tissue.
Oh well,
Oof.
yeah.
Like it's
Anything to
not
do
where
with
where it's skin that's actually just dying. Like
right.
for whatever
I
reason.
definitely believe that. So you understand. It's just
Yeah,
something
no,
I
I'm
don't
with you.
wish upon anyone to
Yeah.
experience. So, Kindeman Remedy. And the other one that I've been playing, which is like completely the opposite of that, is Shadows Over Loathing. It is one of my backlog games. I got the collector's editions from Serenity Forge. Love those guys over there. It is a sequel, quote unquote, to West of Loathing. And I freaking love West of Loathing so much. For those that don't know, Shadows Over Loathing is a hand drawn stick figure RPG that takes place in a fictional roaring 20s. You got a letter from your Uncle Murray, something odd's going on, so you take a bus over to Ocean City or whatever to help him out. There's definitely some supernatural elements to it that I'm still getting used to. I kind of like the more Western theme, West of Loathing. It's literally just you making your fortune in the West in the 18 whatevers. Um, and then the supernatural part of that would be like historical ancient machinery that you think could be alien. Which I think is just, I don't know, a lot more easier for me to suspend my belief, not relief, than time warp tentacle shadow things. It's not bad. Um, They definitely added a lot more complexities to Shadows Over Loathing. The humor is still there, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Nice.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like how on the dock it says super secrety game.
I'm also playing a super secret-y game.
I
That
know
won't be
what
so
it
secret.
is, listeners.
Haha.
Haha, losers. Just kidding. We love you all. Is
What about
that
you, Corey? Did you go? I'm all set. I'm all done. Those are
Yeah.
the.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, Corey said what he's playing.
no? I have not. But it's been a pretty slow gaming month for me. I don't know. I'm in that slump where like I just don't want to play anything because of other things going on, and it's just kind of like every time I look at a controller, I'm just like, it's too much work right now. So um yeah, I mean, I played Brothers, and of course it's the one game that like I played over the last week that I just like I disliked it so much that I am afraid I'm going to ruin book club on Friday.
You
Why would you
disliked
feel
it?
like you're?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I mean, I just don't really have anything positive to say about it, but it's okay.
man, we're really striking out. I feel like other than Uncharted, every single game.
I know.
Well, not every single, but you didn't like a lot of them. I feel so bad. I'm sorry.
Come on, silver tier patrons, vote for better games.
Oh.
Matt, that's you.
What is?
I voted
What
for
is-
Brothers.
I
what is
know.
the next?
Because I love that game.
What is
Un-
the next?
I liked it.
I think Uncharted 2 is the next game. I don't know. I haven't.
For May, yep.
When
I-
for May? When are y'all recording?
Fucking hate that
What
game.
probably the second to last or the last week of the month
Of this month or the next month? You mean
of May?
of May? I might play it.
That's what you said about Uncharted, and you didn't show up. So
Yeah, I ran out of time. Like
Stephanie's taking the month off of book club. Not
Oh, yeah?
of the show, but of book club. She has cooler games to play. I wish I would have taken
about
this
that?
month off. I could have had cooler games to not play. No, it's not that the game is bad. It's just it's the same reason why I refuse to play The Last of Us. So
Oh,
I'm just don't need that. Pick some cheerful games, guys. Come on. None of these sad things. So
Okay,
then-
now I see where you're. Okay, no, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's a tough one.
yeah.
a
So that's kind of all I played. I'm not going to spoil it here because we are having book club on Friday. I also played some Destiny on Saturday night with my pal Mitch. We played some Onslaught, which is the new mode. It's basically a horde mode, and brought back some old weapons. I think I said this last week too, but so I did that. And yeah, that's kind of it, really. I have been trying to figure out what to do with certain shows because of certain schedules, and also I had a couple meetings with other people this week about other things to try to take some stuff off my plate and our plate in general, and it might be beneficial. And also I'm talking with Ed. I think we're going to move expansion pass to once a month because I can't record at 10:30 at night until like 2:00 in the morning. So, and we're just going to do
Sounds
like
about right, yeah.
one long episode a month instead of 4 tiny episodes, which I think would probably be better in the long run.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Matt, you're a loyal patron. How do you feel about that?
Look, I'm not saying this as a patron. I'm saying this as a friend. Watch your fucking burnout.
Thank you. Jeez, how many
Yes.
times do we have to tell him?
I've
know,
been
it's almost like
10 years.
I've gotten to a point where I feel
10.
like I just need to stop saying shit and just let it happen.
Yeah, like I mean, and look, I understand, like when you have this is one of the reasons why I've never wanted to start a Patreon, is because I don't want to feel that guilt, because I know exactly where Corey's at, because that's
Pressure.
exactly where I would be.
I don't feel guilty. It's the
It's the pressure. It's the pressure to like have the content up there, and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
the crazy part.
It's
and the
not
crazy
even
part is,
it's
oh,
not that. That's not the reason why I'm changing it, is because I don't want to record at 11 o'clock at night. And Ed's schedule is all over the place, and it's not his fault, but like, we have to change on the fly recording night sometimes, and it's just
Yeah,
kind of
you can't do that.
you can't. Yeah. So I mean,
Listen, if I was a patron, which I don't know, I guess I should be because I just feel bad saying it out loud. Even though I do enjoy weekly podcasts, I feel that once a month POW block still would be fine. I would still be satisfied because Nintendo POW block is the weekly podcast.
Mhm.
And I would rather have a once a month bonus with unique and intriguing topics than every week. And I'm not saying that the topics haven't been interesting. That's not what I'm
they're not
getting at. But when you have so
We've
many,
had that
sometimes
conversation
it's
already.
hard to get topics up. And
Mhm.
so I'd rather savor and enjoy a one a month that is a very well, I'm just repeating myself at this point, a very interesting topic. Save it
Yeah.
for quality and not quantity, especially since you technically already have a weekly
hmm Yeah.
topical podcast.
My idea is to treat it more like book club and just do it once a month with like something interesting to talk about that's Nintendo related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. So I think that's going to start in May, because I just and again, I want to reiterate, it's not his fault, just
Sure.
because of the nature of it.
No one's come. No one's. Yeah.
It's
No one's saying it. No one's
it's
saying that.
it's just
definitely.
where our schedules are opposite, and it's getting harder for me to stay up later, So,
I
anyways,
mean, honestly, every week I think of a new podcast idea that I should start.
yeah,
Every week.
I know.
But then I think about starting it, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a lot. I gotta find a co-host because I can't just be talking to myself, because it will go for 5 hours, and I'm just gonna be a crazy person at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you realize 2 years ago we were doing like 10 podcasts, and now we're doing 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. And those have been the correct things. Like,
Yeah.
trimming what you need, trimming what is not working has to
Mhm.
be. I mean, it has to. It's like, honestly, in a weird way. It's like manicuring your fingernails or maintaining your toenails. Like, because eventually those get too big and they become kind of inconvenient,
Yeah.
or possibly infection inducing. So
Yeah.
I've worked enough in an ER to figure that shit out.
Yeah. And not to like keep talking about our process here, because
Sure.
I want to get to our questions and stuff, but like, I think we made some smart decisions this year, like integrating spotlights into the weekly podcast instead of like it being a separate post. Like, what I mean? Like, instead of like an episode and a spotlight in the same week, we just make the spotlight that week's episode, or, and then there's different Patreon perks related to that, because you're not getting it early, but you get exclusive question threads or whatever, right? So, I think we made a lot of smart changes that way. It's now it's time to adjust on the other side of this. So, but anyways, enough of that.
Yeah.
Enough of that. I'm actually quite happy where we're at, content wise. It's
good.
I'm trying. The thing now is growth. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Kiel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network. Speaking of growth, we have a lot of questions. Has nothing to do with growth, everybody, but there are quite a few questions. If you want to give us a question, you can email us at podcast.bossrush@gmail.com, or join the Discord. Look for the Twitter thread. You can submit your questions. We will read them on this here program, just like the one True James did via Discord. He asks, question, this is one we saved from last week. So, Stephanie, this one's for you. Do you plan to play the Mildew Children? Do you have any pre-release thoughts? What little I've seen seems perfect for you.
That's awesome, and I'll admit I had to look this. I hate to admit it, I haven't heard of it. But once I saw the trailer and the description, that is right up my alley. For those that don't know, it's a 2D adventure hybrid with visual novel, featuring kind of a macabre tale about a village where there's children who follow, quote, savage pagan traditions. A young witch named Fearful and her sisters are bound to perform a macabre ritual in order to save their village. A witch's demise during the ritual is not unusual, since not all can triumph over the mistress of death. It has a lot of pagan folklore. It's hand drawn, and it's it's got that choose your own adventure type feel, so definitely seems right up my alley, and I really love supporting the smaller developers. That's why I say, like, I even feel guilty that I haven't heard of this, but this is why I love our Boss Rush community, because we all kind of know what we like to play, and we provide these recommendations to one another. So to answer your question, you know what? I do plan to play the Children. I'm not sure if the title would have sold me if I just saw it scrolling by. I'd be like, ooh. But after looking it up and reading about it, I definitely will, and I'll let you guys know what I think about it in a future episode. Might be a while though, but
Nice. I'm glad there's another indie game for Stephanie to talk about.
I love my indies.
I know. I'm trying to
or according to autocorrect my undies. A lot of time, unfortunately, it autocorrects to undies, and it's very awkward.
I love my undies. Just saying.
Sorry, Corey. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
I don't know. You started talking about indies and I got distracted.
I'm sorry. You said we were talking about indie games, so I don't know if you were talking about like you playing indie games or.
I mean,
forget indie games. Let's talk about undie games.
What was that? What was that game called? Panty Party or whatever?
Yeah.
Gal Gun. What are some
genital jousting?
Yep.
Jousting. What was the game for Vita that the special edition came with a pair of panties to clean your screen?
That was Galgun.
Was it?
No, I thought it was Conception.
Was it? It was something.
Austin knows for sure.
Yeah, Austin, we need you. Come back. Join the show, Austin. We miss you. But yeah, I mean, I've been after PAX, especially meeting all the developers and just how, like, obviously the industry, the AAA scene especially, is like, from a employment perspective, is in the shitter, right? And so seeing the smaller devs and the indie devs be so excited about their games has, like, I mean, this show in general has made me turn around on indies quite a bit. Not that I wasn't interested, but it took a lot to get me interested in an indie, right? But the studio, the Astral Clock Tower, the female-led studio. It's funny, we had a DM conversation about their game, and they told me to email them, and we're gonna have them on a spotlight soon. And we just got to pick a day, Steph.
I saw that. I'll take a look. I'm really looking forward to their game.
Yeah.
Crystalla is the game.
Yeah.
A game about cats.
Yeah,
but like it's a serious game about cats.
It looks like Dark Souls with cats.
You're gonna tell me that Cat Quest isn't serious?
No.
You're gonna tell me that Stray isn't serious? Little Kitty, Big City, serious stuff.
See, I'm telling you.
I'll tell you, it's not serious. If you really want.
What's not serious?
What, LeRon?
You're lucky I'm distracted.
I just said I'll tell you. I just said I'll tell you that if you want. Like, no one's asked me to tell me to tell them that.
Do you hear of Dog Quest? Do you hear of Little Doggy, Big Soggy? Like, do you?
Listen, I believe the very first game that I
Little
encountered.
doggy, big soggy is something I said as a kid about my puppy. Thank you very
Little
much.
doggy.
I believe
Doggy.
the very first
Don't
game I
like any
played
of that.
where a dog wound up stealing the show was Final Fantasy VI, with Shadow and his dog, and like it was to the point where, like, because like you can only recruit Shadow during one exclusive event, right? And it's late in the game. So I knew a lot of people that basically re-rolled their save file. They didn't get him because like it was all about that dog.
Yeah. Now, I will say, as someone I'm allergic to both cats and dogs, but I have stronger reactions to cats than I do dogs. Cat games tend to be better than dog games.
That is true. That is true.
I
What,
will say
what's
this
the last?
though.
Yes.
What's the last
I
dog
will
game you
say
played?
this though.
Fallout 4.
The Kachi in Elder Scrolls, fuck them.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
Paxel's so happy. Anyway, next question.
Next question: will you be playing Odd Sparks and Automation Adventure?
I believe that's Automaton Adventure.
Whatever. No, it's automation. Automation.
Automation.
That's yeah. I know
Oh,
how to read. I'm
I don't
Sparks.
apparently. See, 'cause I've been playing so much Helldivers that I just immediately default to automatons, and I'm like, must kill. So
Anyways, is anybody playing Odd Sparks? I've never even heard of it.
No, so it's a blend of automation and real-time strategy for diehard fans of the automation genre. I didn't even an automation curious. I have not heard of that term. Explore a strange fantasy world, uncover mysteries of the past, automate your workshops, and go on adventures. So I will say it looks adorable and very quaint. It's definitely not the type of game for me, but I'm sure fans of the genre are playing it and enjoying it.
it's like
Fans.
it's like one of those games I would watch Giant Bomb play back in the day.
Oh, Giant Bomb, man.
Yeah.
Good times.
Hmm.
I need to eat.
And those games would be fun when they're playing them. But if I sat down and be like, I would just, it would be analysis paralysis right off the bat.
Oh.
Next question? Or did we answer that one? I don't know what Odd Sparks is. I need to look it up.
It was from the Next Fest demo, so
Is that like a Steam thing?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of indie games were featured on that, and there was just so many games, it's hard for me to keep up. That's the thing. I guess one game that did catch a lot of hype is something called Manor Lords. I will say I have heard it in passing because I guess that's what hype does. You end up hearing about it. I'm on their Steam page now, and they've surpassed 2 million wish lists, which is pretty good. It's set to come out in 2 days, actually. It's a medieval strategy game, city building and tactical battles. So I'm not sure why there's a hype. Is it just because it's medieval, like the setting? Because I don't know, there's just a lot of city building type games. I don't know. I also feel like the fan base is very dedicated to that. Like, just yes, give me more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As someone who's not into those type of games, my outside looking in sort of take on it is it's multiple types of those games put into one.
Mm.
Because it seems like, the city building of a City Skylines or a Sim City or whichever city builder du jour you like.
Please don't mention City Skylines. They
I feel like this would be a game that I would so be into when I was in high school or
Yeah,
college when I had
but
a lot
then
of time to burn.
Exactly, but then you add like tactical battles, and you probably have to do a lot of management of that. So you have to change the way you're thinking about it on the fly.
Mm.
That, in theory, sounds really cool. However, I think my adult brain has too much it needs to manage in life to want to come home and manage that.
All right. Our next question: have you caught up on the hype for Manor Lords?
Well, that's what we just talked about.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It was my fault for kind of jumping to that question.
Okay. In the wake of Phantom Fury's blackluster release, what are your favorite retro and boomer shooters? I hate that term, boomer shooters.
What is a boomer shooter?
Games that are
I need clarification too.
like Doom and Quake and I guess Wolfenstein to an extent.
So basically, they take their cues from the shooters
anything
of the 90s. That kind of created the genre. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I
Oh.
mean, what was the one they did before this? Ion Fury. That was the one that they did before this, right? So
I think so.
Wow, 130 Steam reviews, and it says mixed. Ooh.
I don't know. I really like Doom and Wolfenstein, the new ones.
The modern Doom game's pretty good. The modern Wolfenstein game's pretty good. Boomerang X, nice little take on those. I mean, Neon White, pretty nice take on that too. Except instead of being a gun, it's card-based combat. Hell, Ghost Runner is a nice take on the boomer shooter, but it's just not a shooter.
Yeah.
It's a runner slasher.
A runner slasher. Those are my favorites.
Yeah.
Let me take a piece out of like one of these reviews. Dang. Oh boy, where do I begin? Imagine Half-Life, except it has zero flow and bad combat. That's this game. Every couple minutes in, you'll be faced with a dead end with little indication of where to go, what to do, and forced to backtrack a little to progress to the next section. This is a very long one. Graphics are fine. They do the job, but overall uninspired. I guess what I'm trying to say is this game is whack. Don't buy it. It's so whack.
It's whack.
It's whack, bro.
I've never played the Half-Life games, but I feel like if you're opening with a reference to an almost or probably past 30-year-old game, it's just as a reader, it sounds to me like you've not played anything in between.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get to play a lot of those shooters back in the day, so I don't really have any go-tos myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, while people were playing Doom, I was playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and The Sims. So
I was playing Diablo.
Not the bad PS1 version, I hope.
No, I bought a PC so I could play Diablo back in the day.
Nice.
It took me so long to save for it.
I never got into Diablo. I tried quite a few times. Our next question comes from what?
I was just gonna say thanks, James, for those questions, and I'm gonna wish list. Well, I know it's out, but just so I don't forget, the Mildew Children. Thanks again. Please come back with more questions. I know you always do.
I don't know why, but the Mildew Children. There are two games that came to mind. Children of Morta came to mind for some reason, and It'll Do, which is like that hand-drawn Zelda like. And they made a second one, but they turned the second one into a roguelike, and I was like, I'm out.
That's how you repel Deer Egg.
Yep.
Make it run based.
It's not the only way you can repel me, apparently, existing. That was a bad joke. You know it's not bad. This question. Sam Hall writes in and says, how has your taste in video games changed over time? Has it changed drastically? What have you found that you like now as opposed to when you were younger? I actually have a really good answer for this, because what I used to like when I was younger, I drifted away from, and it's now full circle, and I find myself going back to games like that. So like JRPGs and slower paced games, because once like 360 came out, I was all about Gears and Halo, and obviously Destiny took over my life for a decade and stuff like that. And then I got into the open world action RPGs like Assassin. I really like the new Assassin's Creed games. I know people don't like them, but I don't care. Somebody does.
Like what you like.
But now I find myself going back to like, you know, my goal this year, which it's not going to happen, but it's on the goal list is to finish Final Fantasy VII and like the series of the re's, right? Like reunion, remake, and rebirth. And then also on my list is like Xenoblade, and these are like, I mean, they're clearly not as traditional JRPGs as the 90s games, but like I find myself wanting to go back to games like that and Tales and uh stuff like that, and Kingdom Hearts, and instead of like, oh, I don't know, like I actually am like dreading if I had to play Destiny for another 10 years, I would be like, I don't know. As excited as I am for the final shape, I'm excited to see how it ends. Put a bow on it, and I'll keep up with it. It's like old World of Warcraft players when I'm sure there was an expansion where people jumped off and then a bunch of new people jumped on, and I kind of feel like that's where we're at here. But that's kind of my answer, is like I've found myself back to where I used to be, and also trying indies and classics that I never played. Like there's a ton of JRPGs on Super Nintendo that I just never played because I never had one. So that's my answer.
I feel that my taste in games have changed significantly, but part of it has to do with the fact that I've been able to expand and play more, because when I was younger, I was severely limited in what I could play. Back then, and also just because when you're younger and don't have adult responsibilities, you have more time. When I was younger, I loved RPGs and I loved sim games like Harvest Moon 64. I loved that game, and I would just play every day for years or like in the game time. And RPGs, yeah, so like those two, like something that's very time consuming and just mellow, whatever. And then of course there's always just Zelda stuff. Now that I've been able to experience more games and my lifestyle is adjusted, my bread and butter lies within third person narrative games like The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima and that kind of stuff, and indie games. I've I've tend to stay away from RPGs now because of the length that it takes. I tend to stay away from sim games because of the length of what it takes. Um, and as far as Zelda's concerned, it's still my number one franchise, but I don't know, I felt that the most recent entries in the games, although I love them, I'm just like, is it because the franchise changed to this open world, um, has me just less involved or dedicated? I don't know how else to say it. Or because my taste in games have changed to a more narrative driven, that I like narrative driven games, and Zelda doesn't really have the best story. It's really more gameplay. Maybe I'm sort of just slightly mildly less passionate about it because of that. I don't know. I'm afraid to admit it.
We just
But yeah.
had that conversation on expansion pass that we recorded this week, actually.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, was the first part of it was I don't remember if these are two separate episodes or not. But one was Breath of the Wild versus Tears of the Kingdom. Which is the better game, and which one will we go back to, and why does one feel more appealing than the other? And then the other one was, are these games even replayable like the old ones because of how large they are? Because that's been a really big discussion in the Zelda space recently. It was like, I mean, how many times have you gone back and played Ocarina of Time because it's a 20-hour game, right? Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are like at minimum like 60-hour games, 70-hour games, and that's if you just kind of blow through them with some side stuff.
Right. And I just feel like if I'm going to be pouring that much time into a game, I want it to be, and again, sorry to repeat a few of them, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Red Dead 2, I'm trying to think of others. Just like, and even Baldur's Gate 3, like things that the story needs to carry me through those 40 plus hours. Again, for me, And I think that's just why I never really want to admit it, where I still love those two Zelda games. They're still high up on my list, but I definitely don't feel that same fiery, passionate love as I did for prior, more linear experiences with Zelda.
Yeah. Zelda's Zelda's interesting one. I've been yearning for an old school 3D Zelda.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not
So
enjoying these, but
I don't like admitting that my taste in games have changed, but I feel like that's with everything in life. You're just gonna enjoy life differently. Like in my 30s, I now look forward to grocery shopping or when I get a vacuum or something, which is not something that would thrill me in my 20s. Same thing with gaming. Just, you
My mother-in-law once surprised me with socks, and I was the happiest I had been in a while.
know.
I'm like,
hmm.
Reba talks about getting new pots and pans, and I get excited. So
Yeah,
yeah, no,
see?
yeah.
Hmm.
LeRon, you want to go next?
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like I'm almost right there with Corey. Like, like it's kind of felt like it's come full circle, but I have noticed that I am kind of like one of the things I've said on quite a few of these shows is that I definitely got to a point where certain genres that were like my mainstays, they got stale, and like it was one of those situations where I just like am not enthusiastic about picking back up. JRPGs is one of them, as well as survival horror games. That's but I still have like those. I still have those ones I kind of hold dear, like like the Dead Space franchise, for example, for survival horror. I am slowly weaving. I'm picking and choosing like the JRPGs I play now because I still feel like the formula now, like especially like like these games that like these RPGs that literally take you 100 hours to beat, like the Persona games and stuff like that. That's not my cup of tea and stuff like that. Like I do like a good action RPG, which is why like I've been playing Monster Hunter for 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, and things of that nature. But I still find myself like having my mainstays. Like I love platformers, so like anything from like Metroid to Mario, um, Jack and Daxter, games like that and stuff. Ratchet and Clank, for example. I love those games. But I do like the modern adventure titles. Like think your Uncharted, your Tomb Raiders, Horizon, stuff like that. That's kind of where I'm at now. I do love the simple games though, and I still have a love for like rhythm games. I still do. I don't think that's ever gonna die.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I wouldn't say drastic change, but more like I've kind of like curated where my likes are. Every now and then I will play those games that are like balls crushingly hard, like the Souls games, for example. Um, Roguelikes are a genre that I never really thought I was gonna like, but I do appreciate like a good like Hades game. For example, stuff like that. Um, and yeah, sometimes I play some super whimsical games. Like I did play Stray. I enjoyed Stray. Um, what else? What's another really? Oh, Unpacking. Like such so fun. Especially for like people that have like high functioning OCD like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So yeah, my gaming tastes have evolved. Since I was a wee kid.
a wee
But also, I
lad.
still feel at the core, it's still the same stuff. It's just less JRPGs, more adventure games now at this point. I'm always gonna run after a Metroid game, especially if it's akin to like the classic Metroid series and stuff like that. Prime is still kind of like a oddball for me because I've never been good at first person shooters. So Prime, and I don't know, something about me. I my spatial awareness, I need to see my character in the game. That's my main problem. Like if it wasn't for that, I'd probably be more in the first person shooters, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, was there what have you found you like now as opposed to when you were younger? Okay, yeah. Yeah. I pretty much answered all the questions, all of that brick question. Yeah.
Hmm. Good job, LeRon. Proud of you.
So I think I'm kind of repeating a lot of the same sentiments that have been
Well, don't.
stated by the panel. When I started playing video games, I liked I liked side-scrolling platformers. I liked Super Mario Brothers. I liked Legend of Zelda. I liked Duck Hunt. I still like games of that ilk, but as I've grown up, like when I first started playing games on a PC, I played text-heavy adventure games. Some of them were ultimately terrible. Some of them were pretty good. Some of the bad ones just left lasting impressions that I cared about and that I liked. And things in those spaces have been updated and built upon in very interesting ways. Like, Kentucky Route Zero finally came out with all of its. And that's one of the best text-based story games I've ever played. It's some of the moments in that game, even thinking about them can, trigger emotive reactions out of me. But the thing that's changed the most is I've tried less and less to play the same things. Like LeRon stated, like I've played every Souls game because I think that's more due to how From Software makes the games rather than the games themselves. If a Souls game came out by another developer, I don't know if there's another developer that could 343 that series and be anywhere near as successful. And not necessarily monetarily or sales wise, but I don't think it would land the way that those games have landed for me, just because there is a certain, like, plenty of games have tried it, but there is a certain, like, je ne sais quoi that From has that I can't really articulate. I do like roguelikes. I do like shooters. However, one thing I've focused on more as I've gotten older is my interaction with the game. I think that goes into like like how I like to engage with just art in general. If there's a certain thing that is doing something for me, and like me bringing whatever I'm going through in that specific time and place, and there's a good interaction there, like that's what I'll lock on to. I also like games that I can share an experience with. The Remnant series, if I wasn't friends with Jason Marshall, I don't know if I would love that series as much as I do, because the moments that he and I had in those games are some of my favorite things, because he and I got to experience them together. Same with like Helldivers, the first Helldivers. Like, I met my buddy Moose playing that game. Like, we were paired off in a Rocket League tournament back in the day, and then we just stayed PSN friends. And I said, "Hey, I see you playing Helldivers. You want to play? Because I like that game a lot too." And then we played it for a year straight. And we've basically been friends because of that. Like, I also have a friend that I met playing the Souls games, my buddy Ahmed, who lives in Blackburn in England. Like, I met him on my honeymoon with my wife. Like, I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna get real weird while we're in Scotland. A buddy I've only played video games with is gonna meet us." And she's like, "He's not coming back to where we're sleeping, are we?" I'm like, "No, we're just gonna he and I are gonna meet for the first time and get to know." And you know what?
Wow.
All three of us got pictures together. We had so much fun, because I feel like there was a certain kind of disbelief when I said, "Oh, he's a doctor." And he's a radiologist now. But, and like, so we found that all of us could really just interact rather than just talk about video games or the time we played Bloodborne and this thing happened, or the time we played, you know, any of the Souls games. And I really like that. I also have, I feel like I'm going to repeat myself, so I'm just going to say this. I always look for something new. And I feel like Matt as a child would not. Like, I think this is LeRon's been playing Tekken. This is the reason why I never got into Tekken. It's because my brain could not switch to 3D in a fighting sense. Like it's easy for me to say this now. I was really good at Street Fighter back in the day. I
cut my teeth on Street Fighter. Oh my god.
I won tournaments in Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, just local like mall tournaments at the arcade. But when Tekken became the fighting game du jour, and then Street Fighter Alpha came out and everything started changing that way, like I loved those games, but I could not map my brain to get adequate at them at all. But now I try and not think about that aspect of it. I try and like, if I'm ever happen, I don't get to watch the like showcases near as much anymore. But when I do, I try and come to everything with an open mind. Yeah, there is the cynical, sarcastic asshole in the back of my head going, this is kind of dumb because, but at the same time, I also try and say like, okay, why is there a way I could like this? And when you do that, you start to develop an appreciation of gaming as a whole on a deeper level. Don't just play the things that you know. Don't just play the things that you already like. Don't be afraid to step out. Will you play some bad games, or will you have some experiences you're not happy with? Yes. However, when you find the new thing that sings to you, it's a very wonderful high. In fact, it's one of those like that kind of breaks a lot of that is Outer Wilds for me. Like Outer Wilds is a first person walking simulator essentially, but it's in space and it requires, you know, messing with physics a little bit, but also it's a text adventure, but you have to find the text. It's not just handed to you. It's not like super narrative. So when you're finding all of that, the adventure is putting it all together. And when you see it all happen at once and you have the story as for what it means, it is like, I've not felt that kind of serene peace with any piece of art. Well, with a whole lot of art, I'll say, because I have felt it with some, but I haven't felt that kind of serene peace since I dropped acid in high school. And I know that sounds like I'm making a joke, but I'm really not. Like, there's a lot of truth to what you hear people talk about hallucinogenics. There's something there. I don't do them anymore, of course, but like when you're willing to step out of your comfort zone, you find wonderful things. So the one thing I've tried to do less and less is stay in the same place.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Agreed. You know, I'll add this because like
before you talk, LeRon, Corey was talking, but I think he's muted.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, okay.
I
wasn't
sorry.
even
I was typing and I was trying to keep my keyboard is awfully loud for some reason.
Okay.
I was saying, man, we're sure praying an awful lot on this show, but it's not going to hit as hard now because I said it when you said something, and now it's, you know, the joke is dead and buried and gone.
But you resurrected it,
decomposed.
Prayer.
And that's how Walking Dead spinoffs are made. Hey-o.
That's the story of Jesus. LeRon, you were saying.
Jesus Christ.
One thing I will say is,
Blasphemous
like,
is not just a series of games, dear Egg. It is what you are right now.
I hate you so much. I don't know why I keep inviting you back.
And just think,
if
if you ever came to Philly and we met up again, you'd still hug me. Don't lie.
I would.
you don't invite
You
him,
might be able to
if you
fit
don't
your
invite him
arms
back,
around
I
me this
always
time,
will.
Matt.
I could fit my arms around you last time. I lifted you off the ground.
Oh yeah, that's true. You are a
I am bigger than I look.
you are a large motherfucker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the camera is not selling you because like
The camera's not selling.
okay, like most people look at me like in this perspective of my camera and they're like, okay, that's a big dude, like 6'3", 200 some odd plus pounds and stuff like that. Matt, I'm looking at you. I'm seeing maybe a 5'11" and maybe a cool like 180.
I'm 6'4".
What?
Mhm.
The fuck?
Yeah.
You're taller than I am? Like I said, the camera does not sell that.
Yeah, because I look up at it rather than down at it.
Yeah. So who told? Who? I was talking to somebody.
Well, we're just gonna be a bunch of bear hugging motherfuckers the first time we meet.
I mean,
Who was it? One of our guests thought that I was like 5'10". I forget who it was.
6'5" or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I was like,
I remember when he and I met, he's like, wow, you're almost as tall as I am. I'm not used to that.
well, like I knew you were tall, but like people where I live are not tall, know. So it's weird meeting another tall human.
Well, and it's also awkward because on a situation where we're on camera, or if you see me in pictures, I'm very proportionate. Like I'm not lanky. I'm not like all skinny limbs or anything. I don't, from afar, I don't look as tall as I am. I really don't, and I think it's because I'm proportionate and not, just a squat torso with long limbs.
Matt's proportionate, he says.
Yeah. When I was in music criticism, my editor-in-chief would fly from California and have like a meeting for all the Philly people. And when he met me for the first time, he was like, I was not expecting whatever this is. And I'm like, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
you. I know.
He's like, no, but I just assumed that like from our conversations, your knowledge base and how articulate you are, I expected somewhere along the lines of like a short goth kid who was like kept in the shadows and not really included. I'm like, no, I'm a tall brunette that was not included and kept in the shadows. I don't know what you want from me.
All right, next question. This comes from our old friend Matt, our old friend Alan Paxton.
Blast from the past.
Yeah, a huge blast from the past. He writes in and says he has a couple questions here, and we'll kind of run through them, and then we'll wrap the show. PS5 Pro, will it succeed or damage Sony going forward? I think it'll do exactly what the PS4 Pro did. Whatever you
be a stepping stone, basically. I think that's what all these hardware refreshes are. I never saw the need for them. And if I'm being serious with you, I feel like instead of just doing these half steps, they should just go ahead and use these as the next system. If we wind up having a 4-year console cycle, fine. You know what I mean? Because I honestly feel like the PS5 Pro is. Corey, you and I have said this. Like, it feels like this generation alone is a half step. Like this is not the generation. This is not where it was. Is the 9th generation of gaming now?
Yeah. If you haven't invested already, I would just wait.
Yeah, just wait. Yeah. If you have a halfway, like shit. Like honestly, keep rocking your Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I don't include the Switch in the generations, by the way. Nintendo's its own thing. I would say if you have money burning a hole in your pocket, I would invest in like a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally or something. I would not waste time on these consoles.
Or if console is the way you're going, honestly, and you could weigh this against whatever, get the Xbox or the PlayStation. and just pay for their monthly subscription thing and just get access to whatever library they have. Don't buy new stuff.
Oh my gosh, dude. PlayStation Plus Extra is like amazing.
It's a lot.
It's amazing. It's
way better
really
than good.
It's way better than Game Pass in my opinion.
I mean, I don't know about that. I don't want to. I don't have.
I do.
Like, sure, you probably know more than I'm not gonna really put a dog in that fight. But that would be the way you. That would be the way you do it. Like, if you're getting an Xbox, just get Game Pass, or if you're getting a PlayStation, just get like a decent tier of PlayStation Plus and play what those games are, rather than spend $70 on games, because it's just
which in all seriousness, I think this is what Microsoft wants. Microsoft wants people just to buy the box and get the service. I think
100%.
I think that's all they want. I think Sony's starting to come to that realization. The only problem is they fucked around and gave us a what, the 35% price increase on the subscription service. Like, no, that is not it. Unless you guys are actually doing something to your cloud servers to where like the retro games will play like they're supposed to, via the cloud. Then, what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the PS5 Pro is going to damage Sony in any way. Just like I don't think it will succeed though, because I mean, like right now, I mean, ray tracing is great, but I think everybody wants ray trace looks with performance gaming. That's what they want. They want to be able to do that, and they want to do it. They want to do it in a way that's pocketbook friendly and stuff like that, because like I mean, like shit, like if you want true like 4K 60 FPS, you gotta spend $1,500 for a graphics card.
Just get a PC at that point.
If
you want the highest end, just get a PC, because anybody thinking they're getting the highest end out of a console, you're wrong. You're just 100% wrong.
I mean,
the math is against you on this one.
The appeal
when the math is against you, you can't.
But to build a PC, I found this out the hard way twice.
Sure.
What they say a PC costs is not exactly what a PC costs, because apparently it doesn't include the monitors. It doesn't include the graphics card. It doesn't.
100%.
And that was some bullshit nobody told me. And then those PCs died. One died within 6 months, and then the other one,
which sucks.
I told you, dude, send me those damn PCs so I can see what the fuck is wrong with them.
I threw them away. I crushed them.
You threw them away when you moved?
Yeah. I was tired of looking at them. I crushed them. They're gone. They're toast.
Bye, LeRon.
Bye, LeRon.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hey.
He's back. Good.
Our next question.
I'm sorry. The amount of obscenities I just like played out. I had to like kill them. I had to kill the camera feed and mute the mic because I didn't even want them lip reading what I was saying.
Oh, you're fine. You suck it up.
But the PS5 Pro will be as nothing of a step as the PS4 Pro was, and anybody really saying, "Oh, the Pro is so much better," is either a special use case that somehow makes sense for it to work better, or they're just trying to justify their own purchase.
Now, Corey, I have a counterpoint that I need to say to what you said about PC gaming. Once you've bought like the bulk of that stuff, monitor, keyboard, mouse, like your graphics card and stuff like that. Okay, if you have money to burn like that, yeah, buy a graphics card each year a new one comes out. But guess what? Like I'm rocking a 3090, and we're about to get into the 5000 series of Nvidia graphics cards.
We're about to get into more than that, but we'll talk off air.
I mean, I already know this, but all I'm saying is that only people who are on the bleeding edge are going to be spending that type of money, who want to have it first, like the early adopters and stuff like that, because like, I mean, because like, honestly, a graphics card should, especially for the price you're paying for a really good graphics card should be able to take you at least three steps into the next generation into the 3 steps from where you're at. So like for example, like the 30 series graphics card that I have, like that card is literally 3 years old. And I'm not bitching and complaining because guess what? Like I can play the games I want to play exactly how I want to play them. and I don't have to bitch and moan about because even though I have a 240 hertz monitor, I usually lock my shit at 60. And shit. And if I really want that high ass performance, I usually lock my performance at 40 frames because guess what? You still get that cinematic quality, but you also get that nice buttery smoothness that everybody wants, that they think they're getting, that they want to get at 60 frames. There's so many tricks and stuff like that. Like I don't go out every year and buy new parts for my computer. God, I don't have that much money. And I don't understand the people that think that it takes money to build the computer once, and then it takes a fraction of that just to upgrade and get the stuff that you need. Like,
Yep.
like I've sank more money in my computer in just getting hard drives than I have anything else as far as hardware recently. That's because I'm a dumbass and I run a Plex server off of my main computer.
I mean,
no, I'm not a dumbass. Like I like having my own personal Netflix.
Sure. Next question.
Our next question. Switch 2. Can Nintendo maintain the momentum they have, and what do we see the launch lineup being?
I'm going to start. Can they maintain the momentum? Yes. Will they? Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Can I talk now?
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay. I don't think Nintendo's going to have the same amount of success with the Switch 2 as they did with the Switch. Now, me saying that does not translate to the Switch 2 is going to fail. Like right. I feel like Nintendo has a track history of getting lightning in a bottle. Like I feel like every other generation, because like if you want to look at this, NES knockout, Super Nintendo, yeah, pretty much. Nintendo 64, that kind of hurt them. GameCube brought them back. And then we had, and even though technically, like if you look at it, statistically speaking, the GameCube was not their best selling console. I mean,
no, it's one of their worst selling consoles. It's their third worst selling console of all time.
But I guarantee you, every time you talk about games from the GameCube generation, everybody's nostalgic and they, like they love it and stuff like that. I guess no one had money or whatnot, even though the thing was like $300 back then. It was $300 system, right? Corey,
what the GameCube?
Yeah,
it was 200.
It was 200. It was 199. Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, the Wii comes out though, and oh my god, it's a freaking it was like a supernova for Nintendo and stuff like that. The Wii U, not so much. The Switch, another supernova and stuff like that. I think the Switch 2 is going to personally is going to be a very well received system, but it's not going to be the powerhouse that the Wii and the Switch and the Super NES were.
I'm of this. I agree with your prediction, although with slightly tweaked reasoning in my mind. I just feel like the Switch was so successful that statistically it would be very, very difficult to maintain the same level of momentum or more. And that has nothing to do with what the quality of the Switch 2 will be. Granted, the scenario is a little different and this is me guessing, right? Because we don't know what the Switch 2 is going to be. My guess
be a Switch
is
1, but there's going to be a second monitor and it's going to flop open.
Can you imagine?
It's going to be a laptop DS. That's what's
or like how the old cell phones like slide up and then you get the keyboard.
Go. It's going to be a Nintendo Sidekick. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't feel like it's going to be how back in the days
it's not going to be a landslide. It's not going to be a landslide.
Yeah, Nintendo's not going to want to do this huge innovative play about some brand new shtick. I think they're going to iterate off of it, and that's kind of another thing where it'll be successful, but it's not going to. I don't think it's going to necessarily surpass the Switch. I feel like eventually, when they stop making Switches, or at some point people will eventually buy Switch 2 just to kind of keep up. So I feel like that's kind of how it'll
Yeah,
go.
they're not going to have the same adoption rate that the Switch had. I can tell you that and that's being realistic, especially especially if because like right now they're already talking about like I think the big thing that we're waiting for is we're trying to ensure that like the current Switch hard like software and stuff works on that new system. Now, if that's the case, a lot of people are not going to just jump ship to the new Switch immediately, not off the bat. They're not, But unfortunately, like Nintendo's kind of like dug themselves into a corner where they have to do some sort of backwards compatibility and stuff like that because the sensible Nintendo fans have got fatigue. Like I've lost so many games, like coming from DS to 3DS, and stuff like that, and I'm nervous about like the hardware jump from the Switch to the Switch 2. I'm nervous about that because like I swear to God, if I wind up paying exact money again for all these games I already own, and even though their ecosystem is alive and thriving because they just shut down the 3DS shop and the Wii U shop, they just shut that down, and you're gonna force me to buy all this stuff again, like on a brand new system that just came out like yesterday. No, I'm gonna have a hard time. I'm gonna have a worse time. But also the other thing is I think that people aren't taking the other reason why, I would die on this hill. The other reason why the Switch has sold so many units is because like there's so many like different like there's Pokemon units and Monster Hunter units and Splatoon units and the OLED and all this stuff. And like so many people are collectors and stuff like that. Like, you know what? People in their I don't know, like I don't want to say greed because greed sounds really mean, but people in that consumerism, collectorism type mentality and stuff like that, you guys, you guys made a whole bunch of people you don't know rich.
Yep.
Nintendo's numbers are inflated to like a massive degree with the Switch and stuff like that, and and the sad part is we made the system as successful as it is. I only have one Switch. Like I'm surprised because I had 3 different DSs.
I
But maybe
also,
I just learned my lesson.
on that note, you also have to take into account that the Switch became super successful through the pandemic.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, and the
like
Switch had the
like
Switch
Animal,
had the
Animal Crossing was such a lightning in a bottle game, and then the fact that you could get multiple controllers, hook it up to a TV, and just everything was right there to play. And then when when one of the kids wanted to play video games but the rest of the family wanted to watch TV, they could do it. Like that's kind of a genius thing. But we don't have another pandemic coming, hopefully. We still got to finish this one.
Well, also where Nintendo was able to get over on that is they already had units out there, whereas Microsoft and Sony were launching a system, and
Sure.
it just happened to land in
Yeah.
the pandemic, the world economy like imploded,
Sure.
so nothing went right.
Supply chain sucked.
Yeah.
But my point is, an event like that.
I wasn't saying this in a negative way and
Oh,
stuff
sure,
like
sure,
that.
sure, sure, sure. An event like that is they can't bank on something like that happening again.
Yeah,
And
because
I
like
think that
what if it happens with the Switch too? Like
I'll tell you,
what if the economy implodes?
I'll tell you right now, if the executives at Nintendo are thinking in the realm of like Square and EA, where everything they put out has to reach this number, like, and they're looking at if the Nintendo execs are looking at this Switch number and say whatever they put out has to reach that, that's a losing proposition.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
there are way too many external factors that got them there in the first place.
It's wild. It's wild that Square Enix, like Japanese companies are pretty conservative, about how they sell and stuff like that. And the fact that every Final Fantasy game, like the last 3 Final Fantasy games, have not have not hit the mark the Square want to hit until they get into the international market is insane. You know, I'm like, you guys are ice skating uphill. You know,
Yeah.
ice skating uphill, and the hill is made of water. What is wrong with you guys?
The hill is made of water. Wow. All right. So, I mean, I feel like I've said a ton about this topic, but basically, my quick and dirty version of this, because we're gonna wrap up after this. Is that I think the Switch had two benefits. One, it was coming off of the Wii U, which had poor sales, so they had less people to move over at launch, right? And they launched with a pretty stellar first year, right? I mean, you got Zelda, you got Splatoon 2, you got Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which was a great surprise. You got a Xenoblade sequel, you got a 3D Mario game, you got a Fire Emblem Warriors game, which I know Warriors games aren't whatever, but and so you launch with a killer first year like that, and then the pandemic hits, and you had 2019 was one of your strongest years the system had, right? With Link's Awakening, Fire Emblem Three Houses, you got The Witcher for people who like to play that in portable. And then you come out swinging with Animal Crossing, like right at the start of the pandemic. And it's like, they had two very good benefits there. Right. And so I'm not saying the next system is going to be a bad system. I think it's going to sell quite well because a lot of people are in the ecosystem now. Right. And it has to be backwards compatible, and it has to be similar enough to the current console in terms of form factor and how it plays. And I would go so far as to say that your accessories need to be backwards compatible, which Nintendo is usually pretty good about.
That makes sense.
Because they have like 12 different collector's edition Pro controllers. I mean, the Joy-Cons will probably be different because the screen is larger. But I would imagine that you could probably still hook your Joy-Cons up to the current model. So, but that's, I think it'll sell well. I don't know if it'll sell as well, and it definitely won't sell as well out of the gate, but that's my take. But we're going to wrap it there. We're going to save this last question for the next time. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening. Stephanie, LeRon, Pat, thank you for your time. As always, Matt.
You said Pat. You said Pat.
Whatever. It's the same thing.
Patrick, it's all the same.
Yeah. Don Matrick ruined the Xbox. Where was I?
What's back? You know what backwards compatibility is? Backwards.
Oh my gosh, I hate you.
That's what Matrick said.
Everybody, subscribe, like, share, rate, and review wherever you listen. Patreon.com/BossRushNetwork, BossRush.net. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Kiel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.